First, thank you very much for filling out the application. It is a bear, but given your appellate experience and records on appeal, et cetera, it was probably just a walk in the park. So, in any event, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Question that for me is, okay, why the governor's got to pick one person, you know, guy, lady, whatever. He's got to pick that person. Why do you think his best choice would be you?
Because I think I come with a full picture of what is required of a judge. I spent 22 years at the Attorney General's office. I reviewed literally thousands of trials from their very beginning to the very end. And we were there to look and see what went well, what went wrong, what the law is, how was it applied fairly, was there harmless error. All of those aspects came in on a daily basis, and that's what we did. And the law that we made is the law that the judges were going to follow in the trial across the state. And so I believe that my capacity to understand what is required in that regard would serve the people of the Southern Judicial Circuit well.
You predominantly now have been in the cyber arena at Embry-Riddle, correct?
Cyber and Homeland Security, which is also a lot of constitutional law.
What do you see to be a potential responsibility to your fellow judges as if you were to be selected as it relates to that particular area?
To cyber, I believe in particular that we get into cybersecurity, and I believe that the cyber world is only going to become more and more impactful across every aspect of our lives. And I believe that the judiciary needs to remain on top of that so that we don't fall behind. I think we can serve the people very well if we have the capabilities to utilize cyber to our advantage and to the participants' advantage. And I think that there's a way to develop that, and I believe in staying ahead rather than responding to something as an emergency. I think if you come up with a plan, it's a much better way to go.
Do you know whether or not or how the judiciary anywhere has embraced that topic and what they're doing with it?
I have not seen them embrace it from what the topics that I have covered. I have spoken to a lot of different businesses, and I think they're trying. I think it's very difficult because what I've seen is the ability to input security in an existing system has a little bit more resistance than if you build it into a system originally. And so I think the capacity is there. I think we just have to be a little more intentional about it.
Thank you.
Why a trial court role versus an appellate role?
I really think that that's important. I think that that is the basis. I often, for my students, when I draw a judicial system, I draw the triangle, and the base, the trial court is the base of that. That's the sturdiness. That's where it all comes from. Everything flows in through that, and if that's not going to be strong, then I think the legal system as a whole isn't going to be quite strong.
And there won't be any reversals. That's the reason.
I'm letting you know my love for everybody else.
I thought if you rule in my favor, there's no reversals.
Do you think you'd have any trouble with, not having a jury background? Is that a necessity to be a trial judge?
I don't believe it is. I certainly have seen a lot of issues. We've dealt with voir dire, we've dealt with the jury issues, jury instructions, improper jury behavior. All of those things have come before me, so I don't think so. I think I'm more limited in what you would call a traditional trial experience, but I think I certainly have trial experience and exposure.
This position may entail a family law docket. What would you do to prepare yourself to sit as a family law judge?
I would certainly be reviewing CLE, all the orders that are out there. I would be looking at all the resources that are available, talking to the different judges and attorneys that practice in that area. I certainly know how to do legal research and can avail myself of that ability as well.
Would you wait till the appointment to do that? Or?
Absolutely not. I've already started to do that. So I have downloaded different documents and I've taken some CLEs. So I'm working on that already.
Talk to us about your community involvement.
My parents call me a perpetual joiner. So I tend to be involved in a lot of different things, and I tend to join, and then once I'm in, I tend to kind of jump in with both feet. So I have done things with my kids' schools, I've done the PTA, of course I had to go all the way up to president. Stopped for a little while, went back to being president. I worked on the DAC, the Advisory Council for the schools, the Scholastic Advisory Councils for the schools for their sports teams. I'm currently serving as on the Board of Trustees for the Museum of Arts and Sciences. And so I've been very fortunate to be able to do that for the last 5 years, a very important asset to the Volusia County system.
What are you doing over with Aaron now?
Oh, with Aaron, I do appeals as he needs me to. We had a couple people come in and we were able to work together and hopefully come to a good resolution for some of his clients. So as he has appellate work come in, he doesn't have anybody in his office that does that, so I was able to do that.
So you're doing both the professor and the legal side?
Yes, absolutely. And that's helpful too. I am board certified in criminal appeals, and so doing that work also continues to help me to remain board certified.
I was surprised to see a BV rating instead of an AV rating. What happened there?
I have no idea. Honestly, I don't even know when I got rated. I don't know what happened. I just sort of appeared at some point, so I'm not really sure how that works. So
You can issue a prod to them.
Okay.
And if you do, then you will get flipped
All
into it.
right, there's something I did not know.
There you go.
You certainly have the breadth and depth of several different areas. So why, when you were thinking about what you're gonna do next, why the circuit court judge?
So it's interesting in that it came to me when I started actually doing some things for Aaron. I realized that I missed this. And so I was actually offered another opportunity at Embry-Riddle to advance there. And I was trying to determine, right, what do I want to do? And so I sought the advice of some people that I trust. And it was the same idea when I was trying to decide whether I wanted to leave the AG's office. I didn't leave because I didn't enjoy it or I didn't like the work. An opportunity presented itself, and people that I know and trust and respect said, you know, you regret the opportunities you don't take in your life. When you look back, it's stuff that you didn't try. And I realized that this is something that I wanted to do, and that this was the opportunity I was excited about, and this was the opportunity I wanted to invest myself in.
Talk to us about your experience with habeas corpus.
State or federal? We've done them all. So I have done state habeas, we've done federal habeas, I've appeared. We've done some hearings, so we do have, when you appear in federal court, it's sort of like a bench trial. And so we've had a couple of those where I've had the opportunity to appear with some other people from the AG's office and some in front of the federal courts and do basically a bench trial for the federal habeas. We've had some interesting experiences with those. As normal trials, something always pops up and you have to be prepared for that. But I was able to do that. We had to depose witnesses, we had to introduce evidence, we had to do opening and closing statements, we had to cross-examine witness, direct examination of witnesses. So sort of the mini trial in that regard.
What about elections? You know, this, a habit of judges being challenged has kind of emerged. And what are your thoughts on how you would prepare for that?
I have actually helped several of my friends who are judges in their elections, and so I am not afraid of an election. I think I have a lot of knowledge, and I certainly have a wealth of people that I can go to for how to do that. I think part of the job is sort of you earn your spot every day. You need to continue to work, and I think that you're always sort of running for election, and I think I do that by my involvement in the way that I present myself on a daily basis.
Really, you know, part of the job includes potentially, occasionally, the death penalty. And to that end, is there a need to reconcile your personal beliefs with your professional beliefs? Are they coordinated, not coordinated? How do you deal with that? I can't imagine a more significant judicial act.
I cannot either, but my job as a judge, that the death penalty is here in the state of Florida. It is legal and it happens. If the prosecution seeks, that's their determination whether they want to seek that. If they seek it, if they meet all the requirements and the jurors make their decision, then that's my job as the judge to follow the law, and my personal opinion is not part of that.
In
anything else that anyone might ask? Anything else you would not like us to forget?
Just that I really believe in what the judiciary does. I believe in it as a co-equal branch of government, and I think that that is where the strength in the government lies, is having those three equal branches, and I think having strong people, as we have had in the 7th Judicial Circuit. I think you all have done a great job. I really appreciate that. I have talked to people in other judicial circuits who have not been so blessed. I think there are a lot of mentors that judges can turn to here, and I really think I can continue to add to that legacy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking your time.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.